Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the meditation service of the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Carol Cross, and I'm one of the practitioners here, and it is my honor to lead you in meditation this morning. So this month, our Wednesday services, we've been looking at the quality of trust, we're using the book Trust by Ilana Van Zandt. And that's been really interesting. I've really been diving into this concept of trust. And to me, trust is not a God quality in that God doesn't need to trust because God knows. But it's a really helpful thing for us who are in this human experience. And one of the things we were discussing is like, what is the difference between faith and trust? And I'm a literature teacher, so my sort of basic thing is faith is is a noun. It's something you have. You either have it or you don't have it. So it's a 100% yes or it's not faith. Trust is a verb. So trust is something that we have to continue, well, we don't have to, but we tend to continue to work on. And trust is incremental. You know, trust can, you could be, 100% trustful, but you're not always. I'm not, at least. And so we can build trust. And I think that this whole book is about how important trust is in our life. But I also think that trust can be a stepping stone to faith, because a lot of us need some evidence before there's some things I can just say, yes, I know this is the truth. I have faith in this. Other ones, I need sort of some evidence. And as an example, I would give is my abilities as a practitioner. So when I graduated practitioner studies in 2019, and at that time I thought my weakest skill as a practitioner was my prayer. And so while I volunteered to do a lot of things, I never volunteered to be the practitioner, the person who's up there praying in front of everybody in the moment. And then COVID happened. And we had our services were all online, and we would do them with 5 people in the building. There would be Reverend Dusty, there would be the musician, there would be an AV person, there'd be a platform and meditation host, and there'd be the practitioner. And so one Sunday I showed up, and Dusty was out of town, so we had a guest speaker, and the guest speaker said, well, the practitioner woke up sick, so guess what? You're it. So I'm like, okay. And I checked in, and I'm like, well, am I better than no one? Yeah, I guess I'm better than nothing. So, okay, I trust I can do this. This much I can do, because I have to. And so I did that, and it went okay. And then that happened again sometime when I was supposed to do something else, and I had to step in for the practitioner. And there got to be a point, because a lot of our practitioners just could not even be with 5 people because of health conditions they had, or health conditions of people that were in their bubble. So I ended up being the practitioner 6 weeks in a row. And it's one thing when you're just a practitioner once a month, it takes a while to build up your skill. But when you do it 6 weeks in a row, yeah. And so by the end of that, I had faith in my ability as a practitioner. But it grew by trusting myself more and more and more, and trying it, and it going well. So that's what I'd like for us all to take with us into meditation this morning. So I ask you to, close your eyes and breathe in, and then you breathe out. Breathe out everything before this moment. Just let it all go. Take another deep breath in. And when you breathe out, release everything that's going to happen after the service so that we can truly be here now. And so I would like you to take into meditation, kind of thinking about this for yourself. Sort of what God qualities do you have faith in about yourself? And what qualities do you trust about yourself? And just be open to some insight about how to get from that place of trust to that place of faith about you and your God abilities. Because when you know and you claim that, that makes you an even brighter beacon of light in the world. So, let's just ponder that question a bit for a few minutes. bodies. And I feel it. I feel you're growing. I feel you're glowing. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for doing the work to being the brightest, most bountiful you can be. It not only expands and uplifts your life, it expands and uplifts the entire world. So, knowing whatever wishes or intentions or acknowledgments, knowing that for you, and turning them over to the law that always says yes, with our words, and so it is. So that concludes our meditation, and join us for the main event at 10:15. See you then. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Carol.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Come on. All right.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you have chosen to join us here at 4 Points by Sheridan, or you have invited us into your home through the power of live streaming, we are very glad that we are here together as a community today. Thank you all so very much for your presence, for adding your energy to the collective energy, and for really creating this community that is so amazing. Thank you all. So, for those of you who might not know me, my name is Dusty Ripplemeyer, and I have the honor and the privilege of being this community's spiritual director. I use the pronouns she and her, and I'm so very glad for your being here. We are the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, and we are a spiritual community that honors all paths and promotes global transformation through personal transformation. We're a spiritual community that can support you as you strive to experience a personal relationship with God. A spiritual community where you are respected and accepted just for who you are. A space and place for inspiration, insight, and revelation, as well as loving support to assist you to become your highest self. You are welcome here no matter where you are on your path. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, which is a global community of over 450 spiritual centers, teaching chapters, and special focus ministries in 35 different countries across the world. Centers for Spiritual Living is a practical and positive philosophy, faith, and way of life that is dedicated to transforming lives by providing powerful spiritual practices and principles for our individual lives and for exploring possibilities to assist the world to become a world that works for all. Speaking of Centers for Spiritual Living, I and a number of people from our community were actually at our national convention last week, all week long in Charleston, South Carolina, and I am looking forward to next Sunday to talking a little bit about that convention, about the experience that we had, and actually showing my talk that I gave on Thursday morning at the general session. So join us for that. February, as you know, and as we have been celebrating all month, is Black History Month. And the first Sunday I played a video, and at the end of the video, there were these words: "Let us be motivated to build bridges of understanding and cooperation by recognizing our shared humanity and the strength that comes from our diverse backgrounds." National Black History Month is more than a celebration. It is a call to action for ongoing commitment to justice, equality, and the recognition of the profound impact African Americans have had and continue to have in shaping our world. Over the course of the month, we have been sharing stories about some really amazing African Americans who have, in the context of our theme of the month, moved through divine discomfort and came out on the other side, having stepped into their highest and best and raised others around them by doing so. Today we are highlighting Mr. Alfred Bright. Alfred L. Bright arrived on the planet January 9th, 1940, and made his transition on October 20th, 2019. He was 79 years old. Alfred Bright was an American artist and educator. He graduated from YSU in 1964 with an art education degree, and a year later earned his master's in painting from Kent State University. He became the first African-American full-time faculty member at his alma mater, Youngstown State University, and was the founder and director of its Africana Studies program from 1970 to 1987. It was the first of its kind of programs in all of Ohio. He brought several African American leaders to Youngstown and the university, including Roots author Alex Haley, Jesse Jackson, Maya Angelou, and Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman to run for president. Among the awards that Mr. Bright has been honored with are the Distinguished Teaching Award from YSU in 2006 and the Phi Kappa Phi's National Artist Award nomination in 2001. Now, prior to all of those amazing accomplishments and awards, however, was a day in his life that he experienced the pain of unthinkable exclusion and oppression. In Youngstown, Ohio, in 1951, the coaches of a city championship-winning Little League baseball team organized a celebratory picnic at a municipal pool. No one had spent too much time thinking about where they were going, but in the segregated and racist environment of 1951, they probably should have. One team member, Alfred Bright, was black. The lifeguards refused to allow this young child into the pool, forcing him to remain outside the fence. From time to time, teammates brought him food and sat with him for a while, but he could only watch when they returned inside to join the fun. After an hour of negotiation, a couple of parents convinced the lifeguards to permit the child into the pool for a few minutes, but there were conditions. First, everyone else had to get out of the water. Then, the young Alfred Bright was placed on a rubber raft and propelled around the pool by one of the lifeguards. Transfixed, more than 100 children and adults watched this bizarre spectacle. As the lifeguard pushed the raft around the pool, he whispered again and again to the young black kid, "Whatever you do, don't touch the water." The question for all of us to ask ourselves is, who would we have been on that day in 1951, and who would we choose to be in the matter today? Lou Zona, director and chief curator of the Butler, said of Mr. Bright, "In his youth, Mr. Bright experienced the pain of prejudice but would not let negativity affect his character. He was proud of his students and warmly applauded their accomplishments as they followed their dreams. I will never forget his kindness and his devotion to our valley. He was a great artist and a great man." So Professor Bright was truly special. He was wonderful and talented artist and teacher, but he was so much more to those who knew him well. He was a friend, a confidant, and mentor. He was always present to offer support and encouragement, to offer help or provide a pat on the back. In spite of, or because of, that day in 1951 and all of the other past experiences that he had, he knew he had the work of love to do, and he did not let anything get in his way. Thank you, Mr. Alfred Bright, for all that you were and all that you did for your students and the faculty at Youngstown University, and the love energy that you spread out into the world. You truly were an extraordinary man. Thank you. So speaking of gratitude, I would like to thank Carol Cross for her beautiful meditation that expanded the container that our service will unfold within. And now I would like to invite everyone to stand for our opening congregational song, "You and Me" by Eddie Watkins Jr.
Oh, yeah. Come on. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One life standing is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One life shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is.
Good morning, everyone. Woo, yes, that was a great song, right? Just got our energy going and flowing. So I'm going to keep it moving. I'm do my best and share with you the announcements for today, okay? And we have a few, so bear with me. Our Wednesday evening services throughout 2024 are called Beyond Sunday. For one last time in the month of February, Carol Cross will facilitate conversations around the book Trust, Mastering the Four Essential Trusts: trust in self, trust in God, trust in others, trust in life, by Iana Van Zant. Please join us at 7 p.m. on Zoom. The link is available on our Wednesday newsletter or on our website, okay? Beginning in March, though, because March is right around the corner, right? You are invited to keep coming out and being with us through our Beyond Sunday as we dive deeply into life. Oh, wonderful. O'Donoghue looks at life's thresholds: getting married, having children, starting a new job, and offers invaluable guidelines for making that transition from a known, familiar world into a new, unmapped territory. Such a blessing. Most profoundly, however, O'Donoghue explains blessing as a way of life. Do we ever remember that? Blessing as a way of life. Okay. As a lens through which the whole world is transformed. Our conversations throughout the month will be facilitated by Mary Ann Atwell Hardy. Ooh. Announcement number 2. This is a reminder that our beloved Brienne Staggs, I want to call her Bree because that's what I do, conscious breathing experience will be happening following services today from 12:15 until 4 p.m. This is an invitation to explore your psyche within and expanded state of consciousness. If you wish to attend but have not yet registered, please connect with Brienne as soon as possible, as there are forms which need to be completed. And the suggested fee is $45 with a sliding scale is also available. Brienne, will you just raise your hand so everyone in the room knows who you are? Perfect. Thank you. So my next announcement is about an upcoming class. Don't we all love to learn? Yes, that's right. Okay, which begins also in March. Okay. Woo, this class is called Ignite Your Life with Bible Wisdom. Woo! Wisdom is the key. The class is a wonderful opportunity to become familiar with the power of the parable stories as inspiration for transforming the soul. We will bring the ancient parables to life and relate them to the challenges of today's world as we engage in discussions, role-playing, and problem-solving exercises, as well as creative arts expressions, which I love, because that's how you really release and get to know your insides, right? Who you really are, that inner release of the art. This class will be held on Zoom, so it's convenient for everyone to attend, okay? It's held on Zoom from 6:30 until 9:30 on 12 consecutive Tuesday evenings beginning March 12th. The class will be facilitated by Reverend Tom Pittman. The cost is $295. Payment plans are available. This is an elective certificate class. There are no prerequisites, and for more information, including payment plans, please contact us at info@trianglecsl.org, okay? So there's a payment plan. We can do this. Let's do this together. Let's take this class together. My last announcement is really special because, well, it's yours truly's announcement, okay? It's for a class that I'm offering. And you know me as Amy Ludwell, because that's my name, but I'm also Dr. Cheryl Farmer. That's my other name. And the name of the class that I'm going to be offering is Your Health is Your Wealth. So just to keep myself in order, I'm going to read here because I love talking, if you can't tell. It will be held on Sunday, March 10th, following service right here in this space. It won't be on Zoom, so you have to come here, be here for this opportunity from 12 to 3, and love donations are welcomed. And Your Health is Your Wealth presentation, it was, the reason why I created it really was to support a person and really helping them to remember who they were and the power that exists within them, because I think we forget. We go through so much in life. And the daily life experiences just pull us away, pull certain things to the forefront. And through those repetitions of seeing the things that are outside of us, we begin to believe that those things are real and true. But I'm here to tell you a little bit something different. So I would really appreciate you thinking about and considering and signing up for this class. The presentation utilizes the principles and wisdom of New Thought teachings and biblical wisdom to strengthen each participant's awareness around power, faith, the power of prayer and meditation, and belief as it relates to your healing and total well-being. of your health, okay? The presentation addresses the importance of eating healthy, engaging in daily physical activity, so that means exercising in some kind of way, the benefits of restorative sleep, not just general sleep, but restorative sleep, along with other pillars from lifestyle medicine. Finally, each participant will be able to move into action as they learn about how their body benefits from experiencing a detox program. Now, we won't have a detox program on that day, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it. And each participant who will also have an opportunity to sign up for the detox program. It's a 30-day detox. It's enough time to give your body to really have changes and for you to see the changes and for you to have a reset of your body. And it's a beautiful experience if you choose to go through it. You will also have some small group coaching. You'll have weekly Zoom calls with me, and you'll get menus and a grocery list to help you through this process. So each participant during the detox will receive a detailed workbook that's filled with step-by-step guidance on how starting a food-based detox program can effectively reset and improve your gut health, and many other positive outcomes as well. So this program, when I looked at it, usually I charge $425 for this program. But because you're my community, because I really want everyone to participate, it's only $45. That's it, $45. So please register for the workshop before or by March 7th, okay? And of course, info at trianglecsl.org is where you would go to do that. Thank you so much for listening, for your attention, and for allowing me to share the announcements today. Have a beautiful day.
Hello, everyone. Hello. So great to see you all, even through the camera. My name is Carol Cross. I'm one of the licensed practitioners here, and my pronouns are she and her. And I am so glad to be here today with you. So the theme for the year 2024 is a grand rising. Our theme for the month of February is divine discomfort. And we have a guest speaker today, and Reverend Cherri's message is, discomfort is the least of our concerns. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that. Next, I'm going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. Okay, so we're going to kind of shift from the, informational part of our service to the sacred. So I ask you to turn within and center yourself, your heart and your mind in preparation for our service. And I am going to hit the gong to send that sacred vibration through the space. All right, you may now open your eyes, return to this space, and I would like to invite up two of my beloved sisters to assist me in our ritual this morning, and that would be our beloved Amy Ludwell and our beloved Rebecca Figueroa. Thank you, ladies. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors both the truth that we are all created by God out of the same God stuff, and that there is a multiplicity of divine emanations, each individualized and unique in their own way, as represented by this ceremony. So, whether this is your first time with us, or your 1,000th time, or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether you are in the room physically or participating via technology, or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether your soul is full of joy and possibility, or your heart is heavy and your mind is consumed with troubles, or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether you are brand new to the science of mind philosophy, or if you've practiced it for a long time, or somewhere in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether your skin, eye, and hair color are a rich, dark shade, or you're the palest tint of color, or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether you are a straight, cisgender man or woman, or you identify with the LGBTQ+ community, or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether your politics tend towards the red side or towards the blue side or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether you were born and raised in this country or you came here from a different land or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether you are married or single or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether you are in the first third of your life, the third third of your life, or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Whether you feel your connection with God is the driving force in your life, or you aren't sure that you even believe in God, or something in between, you are loved and accepted here, just as you are. Each and every color is beautiful, unique, and significant. They all combine together into an amazing whole. Thank you all for contributing your special vibrations to today's service and to life itself. And so it is. Thank you, ladies. So, now I invite you to close your outer eyes as I do an invocation for today's service. And, often in this philosophy, we talk about the golden thread of God stuff that ties us all together. But what I'm seeing when I go inside this morning is that Buddhist concept that Reverend Andy talks about a lot, Indra's net, which is a vast, infinite network of gems strung together, representing every beautiful hue of color that there exists. And that is who I know I am. I am one of those individualized jewels that God shines light through me with my own particular color. And I know that each one of you out there are a beautiful gem that lightens up the world. And it's not just us, because we're special. We are special. But it is every person, every man, woman, child, and in between, is a gem with its contributing its light to our collective experience. And each and every animal, each and every tree, each and every star in the sky, each and every drop of magma in the center of the earth, it is all God's stuff, because all there is God. And when we stand in that knowledge that we can forget, we are unstoppable. So I say a word of gratitude to all the volunteers whose work put together today's service, all the ones that you don't see, who set things up and tear things down and count the money and greet the newcomers. Thank you for being the miracle that you are. I say a word of blessing on the two most important people in the room, Heather and Martin, who are working our AV booth today, because their work allows us to reach the entire planet. And that's what we're about, right? So thank you for the miracles that you are. I say a word of blessing and gratitude on our beloved minister, Reverend Dusty, who you guys don't know how much you're going to enjoy next week's presentation, when she just was unbelievable. So thank you, Reverend Dusty, for the miracle that you are. I say a word of blessing on our musician, Sandy Hemingway, a man whose music never fails to bring me to joy and to tears at the same time. Thank you for the miracle that you are. And I say a word of blessing on Reverend Cherri for coming and gifting us with her presence and her wisdom and her beingness. She is going to enlighten and uplift us, and I am so grateful for that. So thank you for the miracle that you are. And finally, thank you for the miracle that each one of you are. Because each one of you are part of that net of one whole. Each one of you are contributing your perspective, your light, your color, your gemstone to today's service. And that doesn't matter whether it's in this moment or if it's sometime in the future, because there is no time in God. So thank you. Thank you for being the miracle that you are. And so knowing that when we are standing in that place, this place of making miracles, that today will be a miracle. And so let's make it happen. Let's just turn it over to God with our words, and so it is.
And so it is.
Okay. The reading for today is by Alice Walker. And she says, some periods of our growth are so confusing that we don't even recognize that growth is happening. We may feel hostile or angry or weepy and hysterical, or we may feel depressed. It would never occur to us, unless we stumbled on a book or a person who explained it to us, that we were in fact in the process of change, of actually becoming larger spiritually than we were before. Whenever we grow, we tend to feel it, as a young seed must feel the weight and inertia of the earth as it seeks to break out of its shell on its way to becoming a plant. Often the feeling is anything but pleasant. But what is most unpleasant is the not knowing what is happening. Those long periods when something inside ourselves seems to be waiting, holding its breath, unsure about what the next step should be, eventually become the periods we wait for. For it is in those periods that we realize that we are being prepared for the next phase of our life, and that in all probability, a new level of the personality is about to be revealed. And so it is, yes. All right, and now my beloved Sandy, who's going to make me cry and make me feel joy, is here to gift us with his incredible talent. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Thank you. So I picked this song out, and after I had picked it out and practiced it, a meme showed up in my Facebook feed about it, because the title of the song, and I co-wrote the song with Amy Steinberg, the title is Butterfly. And what showed up in my Facebook feed was a note that people think the caterpillar spins the cocoon and then just slaps on the wings and appears. And what's actually going on inside the cocoon is the caterpillar is dissolving into a goo and then reconstituting itself into the butterfly. And that's kind of what change often feels like. But it occurred to me, the caterpillar, when it's in its cocoon, everyone from the outside can tell that it's changing. But humans don't have that luxury. When we're changing, we're out there in the real world, people don't realize. And so it can be tough on you, but I think it's important to remember that anybody you walk by might be in their cocoon right now and might feel like a thing of goo. But this is Butterfly. When the seasons come to pass, turn my wings and fly so fast, so high, ride the wind. When it's time I hear the code, listening I fall up into what will be. Don't ask why, I just enjoy the ride. And when it's time, I rise like a butterfly. Like a butterfly, I ride the wind. Begin again. Like a butterfly, like a butterfly, I ride the wind. Begin again. When I feel that I'm alone, like my heart has turned to stone, so hard I go high. When I close my eyes and breathe deep inside, I finally see the truth. Change will come. I don't ask why, I just enjoy the ride. And when it's time, I rise like a butterfly. Like a butterfly, I ride the wind. Begin again. Like a butterfly, like a butterfly, I ride the wind. Begin again. Every life is a cocoon that we have spun. Every day we must decide, will we slumber in the safety of the sea, or spread our wings and dare to fly? Don't ask why, I just enjoy the ride. When it's time, I rise like a butterfly. Like a butterfly, I ride the wind. Again. Like a butterfly, like a butterfly, ride the wind. Begin again. Thank you.
So we are always blessed, right? Every day, every moment of every day, we are blessed. But I'm telling you what, today, we are doubly blessed. We have the presence, the amazing energy, the love that is Reverend Cherri Murphy here with us today. So I will tell you a little bit about her. Minister Cherri's spiritual practice is informed by Black and ancestral traditions, the wisdom of interrelatedness, grassroots organizing, and spiritual and social justice through partners. She has made academic and pastoral presentations on improving racial disparities at the intersections of economic justice and public safety. In 2021, she was a guest speaker at the Othering and Belonging Institute conference in Berkeley, one of the largest annual conferences for progressive political activists and leaders. Minister Cherri has written several pieces, including a popular op-ed called "Uber Bought Itself a Law." She has also shared numerous opinions on workers' rights on local and major media networks. In 2020, she was given the Discount Legacy Award, which nationally recognized her as an individual who has demonstrated outstanding leadership and contributed significantly to the United States low-wage workers' rights movements. Growing up in Virginia, Minister Cherri was raised in the Black prophetic tradition. She earned her Master's of Divinity from the Graduate Theological Union at the Berkeley School of Theology in 2017, where she is now a promising doctorate candidate. Amen. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Cherri Murphy.
Thank you, Reverend Dusty, for that gracious introduction. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is just such a pleasure, and an honor to be with you all this morning. I am just bathed here. This is my first time here. And so I'm already feeling the love and feeling like I'm also a member here at your church. I want to give thanks to the one who goes by many names. Let me just start off with that. I also want to acknowledge my spiritual home, Heart and Soul Center of Light, located in Oakland, California, where the Reverend Andriette Earl is the senior minister, a powerful and engaging Black woman, I may add. And I want to begin, now that you know a little bit who I am, you'll begin to understand why I do some of the things I do, by bringing to the space the ancestors of the land on which we're sitting on this morning, the territory of the Tuscarora and Occaneecha peoples, among others, the initial stewards of this land before the genocide, displacement, and forced removal, and occupation due to the conditions of greed and hate. I want to also acknowledge the enslaved people, the ones who helped to build this nation based on the historical economic exploitation. I want to thank other people of color, poor working people, women, queer people, and others who've been ostracized, people who have been cast out. I want to thank them for their strength and resilience, for protecting this land and building this nation. They inspire me. And I am committed to upholding my responsibility according to their example. Ashe. I believe setting the tone as a premise for understanding what is ours to do is really important in economic violence and injustice. And it's really important to understand how it plays out in our communities so that we understand the long-standing history that has brought us to reside on the land and to seek to understand our place within that history. Can I get an amen? Amen. So what I want to share with you today, the topic is discomfort is the least of our concerns. So now what, right? I want to continue to create bridges from uncomfortability, because discomfort is an inherent part of the human experience, yet it is a catalyst for change. Our 365 Days of Richer Living, August 28th, reminds us, change is the law of human experience, for only God is permanent. The infinite mind is forever conceiving new ideas, and the infinite law is forever producing new forms. The instant I think a new thought, a new form begins to appear. So in the spirit of that, I want to explore the question, again, now what? Discomfort is the least of our concerns. This morning, I want to examine how we use the words empowerment and power as a method of collective power building. Power and empowerment are not the same things. And it is vital we understand the nuance of each one. More importantly, we must begin to stop resigning for one when we long and must affirm the need for the other. We're going to use Dr. Brittany Cooper's book, Eloquent Rage, in her distinction between empowerment and power. And I believe her discourse helps us improve and embody our best practices. So, before there are any misconceptions about my ideas around empowerment, I want to clear the air. Okay. I'm all for empowerment. All right. I'm about that life. Okay? Someone understand I utilize practices to remember God as source. It's the crux of my empowerment rituals. I embody myself in narratives, sometimes in mutinies aboard slave ships who cried, "Give us free." Sometimes in runaways like Harriet Tubman. Sometimes in music in the double entendre, the songs of my ancestors whose bodies were in bondage, locked in chains and on plantations, but whose spirits soared in freedom. Sometimes in the writings of Dr. Martin Luther King or Audre Lorde, or listening to the speech of Fannie Lou Hamer at the Democratic National Convention. Sometimes in my interdisciplinary approaches of my elders and scholars like the Combahee River Collective, Kimberly Crenshaw, Howard Thurman, Katie Cannon, James Cone, the list goes on. Because I understand that inserting Black thought, Black theology, and Black experiences helps us point to the North Star. That thing we call one life. Because it affirms another world is possible for our spiritual community. And through our science of mind lens, we can say that empowerment is part of our resilience tools. Yet, resilience is not just about bouncing back from adversity or dealing with discomfort. It involves adapting and coping effectively with challenges. We do that today by examining the words empowerment and power as a method of collective power building. I want you to hear me on that. Okay? We do that today by examining the words of empowerment and empower as a method of collective power building. So let me give you an example to help parse this out. Let's talk about how circuses come about training baby elephants. All right? An endangered species, baby elephants are taken away from their homes and their mothers and out of their natural habitats when they are small. They tie a strong rope around their necks and attach it to a secure pole. The baby elephants naturally try to walk away to break free, but they soon learn that the rope attached to them prevents them from doing so. With each challenge of pulling and twisting and fighting with the rope attached to them to break free, the rope is much more secured. As time passes, they eventually figure out that their captives have no intention of freeing them. And pretty soon, the elephants believe they aren't returning home. They aren't returning to their mothers. As they grow older, with that rope attached to their neck or foot, they are conditioned to believe they cannot break away. So that when they are fully grown, huge creatures, they are being held by only a small rope secured by a stake. They have simply forgotten their freedom. It's difficult for people to want to highlight how the baby elephant got into an unnatural habitat in the first place. It's difficult for some of us to talk about how it was ripped from its mother's arms, or to talk about the witnesses that just stood there and watched with each challenge, the baby elephant pulling and twisting and fighting with the rope attached to them to break free, and yet they did or said nothing. Their silence shut its freedom down. For some of us, it's difficult to talk about how its body was used for profit and labored for full entertainment or pleasure. To talk about whether it broke free, how it provided shelter, food, and clothing for itself in a foreign place where it was never taught self-agency or sufficiency. And should the baby elephant had become liberated, I guess they would have been shamed into something like how they did it wrong, how they made the circus trainers feel uncomfortable when they shared their stories of getting liberated. My point is, rarely folks want to talk about the powers that have elephants out there in the first place, instead of systems used to exploit them. I say we must talk about the pain sites because they are keys to our collective liberation. Let me give you another example to help us discern between empowerment and power. It is the birthday month of Sandra Bland. Who know who Sandra Bland was? Sandra Bland was a 28-year-old African-American woman found dead in a cell after being arrested during a traffic stop in 2015. Sandra Bland used her faith to empower her to cope with her depression and pursue her dreams. However, she met the limits of her narratives of faith and empowerment on the shoulder of University Drive and subsequently in a jail cell system. In Sandra Bland's case, empowerment looks like cultivating the wisdom to make the best choices we can out of cruel and dominant systems. Cultivating power looks like the ability to create better options for my sister. The point is, individual solutions to collective problems cannot work no matter how personally empowering they may feel. Brittany Cooper, an associate professor of women's and gender studies and Africana studies at Rutgers University, attempts to correct systemic oppression by looking at empowerment and power. In her book, Eloquent Rage, she suggests that we must stop fusing a meaning of empowerment with power because they're not similar. Cooper cautions us to be careful with the word empowerment because sometimes it can be co-opted, creating a narrative that places the responsibility for combating oppressive systems solely on individuals. She further adds that some folks use the word empowerment as if to suggest that we're supposed to figure out life by ourselves and as individuals. The problems like not being able to afford one's prescription medications, student loan debt, being housing insecure, unemployment, not being paid enough, or safety issues. Essentially, just pick one, okay? Essentially, any of the things that we really struggle with are because we don't have enough hustle, because we don't have enough wherewithal to go after the things that we really want. And using this empowerment in this context is dangerous because these narratives create separation conditions. They limit our ability to see each other's humanity and build freedom for all of us. This type of thinking keeps us in that false safety zone. It limits our full potential. It lets structures off the hook. It lets governments off the hook. It lets systems of power like class and sexism and racism off the hook. It even lets us off the hook. The false thinking can place ropes around our necks. So the call to action is this, all right? We've talked about let us be motivated. What gets you empowered? What are you willing to do with this community to build power, to transform the world so there are safer and cleaner communities for everyone? Your statement says we are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. See, transformative change is possible if we are willing to say yes, if we're willing to do it together. What are the practices in your life around empowerment and power building? What are you planning to do after this talk to incorporate the distinctions? You didn't know this was a working talk, did you? You see, I don't want us to walk out of here thinking that we can do this alone, right? I want to take the spirit of Dr. Bright, the little boy who was ostracized, not through any fault of his own, who won the championship with his other brothers. and ask the question that Reverend Dusty asked us today. Who would we have been in 1951? Who do we choose to be today? Because, as my patron saint, Fannie Lou Hamer says, the voting rights activist tells us, you can pray until you faint, but unless you get up and try to do something, God is not going to put it in our laps. Because, see, I don't want us to walk out of here thinking that it's only a self-help book or a prayer or a song that will unlock our lives to all that we endeavor to desire. Today, I'm here to tell you that it's an and both, or both and. You've heard of that, right? Mm-hmm. If we endeavor to collectively transform the world, and all of this involves trust building, as we talked about early this morning. Thank you, sister. And trust building is no joke. We took that whole year, my community, and read through that book, or even the 365, let me be clear. But if, as a spiritual community, we're going to make mistakes, I would urge you to make new ones, not the same ones. Cultural change takes hold through consistency and repetition. Y'all hear me out here? Not just when MLK or Black History Month rolls around.
Thank you. Yeah. Amen.
Signs of Mind, I close this by saying we need to make it happen. We will feel the changes, as Alice Walker tells us, that when we start to change, we grow, we tend to feel it as a young seed. Must feel the weight and inertia of the earth as it seeks to break out of its shell on its way to becoming a plant. Even Sandy's song reminded us it's time to rise like a butterfly. I close with this. Science of Mind pushes us to consider the universal pain of exclusion and oppression. To open ourselves to the pull of our vision of a world that works for everyone. We end the month recognizing that being uncomfortable is the least of our concerns, because we have love work to do. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you so very much, Reverend Cherri. It always comes down, right? It always comes down to we have choice. Yeah. We have choice in the matter, and do we want to be better? Do we want to do better? Do we want to really stand in the place where we can be an example of a world that works for all? And if we're going to do that, then we have to be willing to sit in the discomfort of having conversations that we might be uncomfortable having. We have to be able to stand in owning the fact that while we might not have been there on the shores of Charleston, this place, this house is our house now. Yes. It's our house now. We are responsible for it. And so we need to make the choices that allow us to step powerfully into our own power and then to use that power to empower everybody else. And I mean everybody else with absolutely no exceptions. And to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King says, none of us are free until all of us are free. And so thank you again, Reverend Cherri, for your beautiful talk, for your wonderful reminder. Deep breath, everyone. Yes, it is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist our community to be a beacon of light and love for ourselves and for others. Together we affirm that the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency in the world. There are a number of different ways you can give. They're on the screen or on your screen at home. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. Text the word GIVE to 919-629-9148, or you can mail your gift to PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina. And I want to remind you again that this is a new text to tithe telephone numbers, so please change that in your own records if you haven't already. Please place your hand on your heart with your gift or with an intention for yourselves or for our community, and repeat our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. So it is. Thank you all so very much. And now, please welcome back to his piano the awesome Sandy Hemingway.
Thank you, and thank you, Reverend Cherri. And this is a song by Janice Stanfield, and if you're familiar with it, feel free to sing along. It's called If I Were Brave. What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed with the wind always fill up my sail? Could I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you do if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are the miracles in you and me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? Sing it with me. What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave?
Just beautiful, beautiful, Sandy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know I needed to hear those words because earlier this morning we were talking about how trust is a human quality. It's not a God quality. God knows, so God doesn't have to trust. But in our human experience, we need trust. And bravery is not a spiritual quality because you got to have fears to be brave. And God has no fears. But I know I do. And so, that's just part of, I don't know, that's just such a beautiful way to support the message that Reverend Cherri gave us about put on our big pants or our big girl pants or whatever it is and be brave. And know that that discomfort is divine. So, but maybe you need some help with that. If so, guess what? We've got a whole phalanx of reverends and practitioners who want to pray with you. All right. So, if you would like prayer about being brave or being trusting or anything else, you can go to our website, trianglecsl.org, and on the homepage there is a button in the upper right-hand corner. You just click on that button and fill in the request form, and it comes to all of us, and we will be praying with you, knowing the truth of your courage, of your strength, of your trust, of your faith. Because sometimes we forget. All right, and if anyone would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyripplemeyer@yahoo.com. Okay, so this is your last shot at our February affirmations. So I invite you all to stand up and put some power behind it. This is a call and response, so I'll go first. And then I'll be listening for you all. Okay, so life is magnificent and complicated.
Life is magnificent and complicated.
While it can be uncomfortable, there are lessons to be learned.
While it can be uncomfortable, there are lessons to be learned.
The power to transform my life lies in my willingness to step outside my comfort zone.
The power to transform my life lies in my willingness to step outside my comfort zone.
I affirm my willingness to do so and trust the universe to support me.
I affirm my willingness to do so and trust the universe to support me.
By stepping outside of my comfort zone, I open myself up to new experiences, challenges, and opportunities for self-discovery.
By stepping outside of my comfort zone, I open myself up
This act of stretching beyond my familiar boundaries allows for the realization of untapped potential.
This act of stretching beyond my familiar boundaries allows for the realization of untapped potential.
By embracing change with openness, I experience personal transformation and creating a more fulfilling life.
By embracing change with openness, I experience personal transformation and create a more fulfilling life.
And so it is. All right. Well, you may sit down if you would like. I'm just going to say a brief prayer of gratitude because we've heard what we needed to hear, right? So that is what I know. I know that what needed to be said was said. I know that what needed to be heard was heard. And I can't improve on perfection. So I just affirm that the divine actions that we will be taking after having co-created this service together will emanate through the world, will happen, will take us forward, will make us bigger and better versions of ourselves, and will contribute to our shared goal of a life, a world that works for all. So, you know what we're up to, God. Support us in making it so, with our words, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you all so very much for everyone that had anything to do with bringing this service forward. Our gratitude goes out to Reverend Cherri. Thank you so very much for being with us today. And I also would love, so we have done outreach in the past, and we've done outreach that really looked like assisting different charities to do different things. But, you know, there's other ways to be in outreach, and Carol just kind of set us out there on a path. And Reverend Cherri and I have been talking about what that could look like in partnership with our community and with her. You know, she's no longer in California. She's here with us. And we have the benefit of that. So anyone that would like to be in conversation, we don't know what that looks like. We don't know what it looks like right now. But the what continues to be, as the what is for the greater organization, a world that works for all. So what can we do with each other, with our community, to assist that to happen? Who do we need to be, and what do we need to do? And if you would like to be in that conversation, please go outside in the hallway and talk with Reverend Cherri and myself, and we'll get your name on a list so that when we do come together to bring people together for that conversation, that you will be with us. So please do that. Any of you that are at home, please send me an email to let me know, and we will, as Carol said, be out there and doing our highest and best to make this world a place for all. And so it is. Thank you all for being here. I love you all madly.